What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Leeds United Career Mode. This is episode number 5, and coming off the back of a 4-0 victory at home against Sheffield United in the last episode. So glad to get straight back on with the run of games we have for you in today's episode. So, as you would have seen in the last episode, towards the end of the last episode, Axel Tuanzebe would have come to me within my emails and said, "Boss, I'm not happy here, I'm not getting enough game time, it's damaging my career, I want a move away." And I said to Axel Tuanzebe when we signed him, when I sat him down about the contract, I said to him, "You're not playing every game, mate. You're going to be a squad rotation player, and you know, we've got our main two defenders. We've got Ampadu, we've got Joe Rodon, they're our main back two. You're going to be back up to them unless you prove to be better than expected." But again, he's not really had enough game time, so yeah, we'll probably move him on within the next transfer window. Again, it just didn't work out, you know. It's realistic. Sometimes you have signings that work, sometimes you have signings that don't. I wanted a backup option, and the backup option never worked here with Axel Tuanzebe. So, going into our first game of today's episode, taking on Watford back at home at Elland Road. We would fall 1-0 down early on into the game, and again, it was one of those games where I just couldn't take my chances, couldn't break down the opposition until the 62nd minute. Yeah, Aronson goes ahead and gets the equaliser through a lovely power shot effort there. And then, as you would see later on, just after scoring the equaliser, we would have another chance. Bamford into Tanaka, and Tanaka with a beautiful deflected power shot effort goes ahead and makes it 2-1 to Leeds United. Tanaka, absolute great midfielder. If you're looking for a young, exciting, promising young midfielder, Tanaka is your guy. And again, he's going to keep growing in his overall. He's only going to get better, and he will be here for the Premier League next season if we get there. So, as you would see then, scenes right at the end, as in stoppage time, we would clinch all 3 points through Patrick Bamford. Elland Road absolutely going crazy there. Again, Watford, one of those teams that are going to be fighting for promotion. They're going to be up there this season. And going into the post-match interview, obviously answering the questions. In my head though, I still had that feeling of, we've got to start games quicker. There have been too many games already this season where we've either fallen 1-0 down, or we've only gone 1-0 up in the break, or we've gone 0-0 into the break, and it's just not good enough. For a team that's fighting for a league title and a team that's fighting for automatic promotion, it's not good enough for this Leeds United team. So hopefully, as the games go on, as the form picks up, we can start games even better than we are at the minute. So going into the second game of today's episode, taking on Bristol City away from home here. And I didn't even realise, last year and a couple of years before, Bristol City Stadium has never actually been in the game, but they've actually put Bristol City Stadium in the game this year. And I've got to say, never played here before, never actually seen what Bristol City Stadium looks like. So yeah, it was nice to see their stadium within the game, and it's genuinely a nice ground. But because it's a nice ground doesn't mean we can fall short of 3 points here. As you would see, the opportunities came thick and fast within this one. Opportunities for both teams, but Leeds United, my Leeds United, looked like the team that was going to score first. And as you would see, we would go ahead and do so. Patson Daka, 5 minutes before the end of the first half, would go ahead and make it 1-0. But again, it was one of those games where we just weren't creating enough. And if we were creating, we weren't taking our chances. Well, going into the half-time break, we were 1-0 up. And then early into the second half, you would see Bristol City, from a deflection from the corner, we couldn't defend the corner, but they could attack from it. Makes it 1-1, and that was the only chance that fell in the second half. So drop points, 1 point out of a possible 3 against Bristol City. Not the result we were after. And again, it goes back to my point, we're just not starting games, or we're not finishing games how we're meant to be finishing games. Leeds United, we want the league title. We got to start picking it up a little bit more than we are already. But as you would see, going back into the menu then, you would see it was time. And it was time for revenge. Yet, Southampton versus Leeds United, the rematch of the playoff final from last season in real life in the EFL Cup round of 16. And I've got to say, going into this one, I was feeling quite confident, you know. Southampton obviously getting promoted, beating us in the playoff final last season at Wembley. I want revenge and I want to take it. And what better way than to knock Southampton out of the EFL Cup? Well, the first opportunity would go to Southampton 8 minutes in. Thankfully, it was saved and blocked and put out of play. So, out of danger, we could hit on the attack. As you would see, Tanaka running through the midfield. Southampton not closing their man down. And in stoppage time of the first half, our number 22 goes ahead and makes it 1-0 to Leeds United. And I've got to say, in this one, for two teams that are very attacking teams, there wasn't really much being created. And you would see after this shot goes wide and saved from Melier, you would see that was really it for this game. A very short highlight reel, but most importantly, full time, revenge is sweet. Southampton out the EFL Cup, and the second Premier League team we have knocked out of the EFL Cup. All I can say is Brentford, Southampton, they were troubled teams, they were causing us trouble, but we managed to break through. But the question was, who were we going to get in the quarter-finals of the EFL Cup? And the answer to that question, well, as you would see here, would we get an easy draw? Absolutely not. Man United away at Old Trafford to be played on the 18th of December. What a tie for Leeds United. Yet the rivalry continues between Leeds and Man United. And I've got to say, if we want to test, that's our first proper test. If we want to test ourselves before we go to the Premier League, or if we get to the Premier League next season, who knows, we could bottle it still. But if we want to test ourselves, that's the perfect test. Man United away at Old Trafford at the Theatre of Dreams against the Red Devils, 18th of December. That is the date to put in your diaries, everyone. But anyway, going into back to the Championship then. Back to Championship action, back to Elland Road, where we love to play our football. It's our home ground. Taking on Plymouth Argyle for the third game of today's episode. Going into this one, feeling very sort of optimistic. And should I say, it's not the third game of today's episode, it's the fourth game of today's episode. What am I talking about? Taking on Plymouth Argyle, feeling optimistic. Again, Plymouth Argyle, Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle now, of course. Not sure how long he'll stay in that job for, considering all the other jobs he's been in. But going into this one, had to rotate the squad a little bit. Obviously, still a bit tired from the other night against Southampton away at the St Mary's. So Joe Gelhardt came in for this one at cam. Brendan Aronson came a bit deeper into the left centre mid role. Joe Gelhardt went ahead and made it 1-0 for a lovely finesse effort from outside the box. Just before half time then, Patson Daka would go ahead and make it 2-0. And I've got to say, this is one of the most convincing first halves we have played here at Leeds United in quite a while. Leeds United 2-0 up at the break. Plymouth Argyle never really looked like threatening us, and as you would see, Tanaka was at it again. The power shot king, I might have to start calling him, but the power shot king goes ahead, makes a brilliant save from the Plymouth Argyle keeper, and Plymouth Argyle were coming forwards a little bit more now. They were starting to trouble us a bit more. Could they get anything? No. Saved by Melier, and it still remained 2-0. But was there going to be another opportunity for either team within the last 10 minutes? But as you would see, Plymouth Argyle, Whittaker running up the right hand side, no one marking him, puts it into Tuani, and Tuani goes ahead and makes it 2-1 going into the latter stages of the second half. Question was, could they get an equaliser and make our day even worse than what it could have been? No, they couldn't. Leeds United 2, Plymouth Argyle 1, and another 3 points secured in the Championship. And, well, the gap within the league table is starting to open. Yet we are top of the table. I believe we're about 6 or 7 points clear of second place. And you know, my plan, it's not to make every game look easy. And again, we are struggling. We are conceding goals. Although we are the lowest conceding team and the highest scoring team within the Championship. As you can see there, 13 games in, 6-point gap over second place. And I've got to say, it's looking good. If we can keep a gap above second place, then that sort of means we're getting closer to promotion earlier, because mathematically the gap will soon open up more, and that means mathematically we'll just be there anyway. So hopefully we can secure promotion to the Premier League as quick as possible, but we still had one more game to do in today's episode. Yep, the penultimate game of today's episode. Still a rotated squad. The squad's still a bit tired. The games are coming thick and fast this season. Obviously, the Championship is a 46-game season, not a 38-game season like the Premier League. So next season, we'll be able to rest the squad a little bit more if we get to the Premier League, because the games are a bit more spaced out. But going into the penultimate game of today's episode, taking on Millwall away at the Den. Yet Millwall, known for being an aggressive team, known for being a quite attacking team. As you would see, 0-0 in the first 15 minutes, but it could have quite easily been 1-0 to Millwall. Yeah, Millwall in the first half absolutely blew us away. We didn't know how to cope with them defensively, and as you would see, chance after chance, but they just weren't taking their opportunities, Millwall. They weren't taking their time with it, and it would mean going into the last 15 minutes of the first half, Millwall tried to have a corner. We broke from the corner. Patrick Bamford running through the Millwall back line, through one-on-one with the keeper, and Patrick Bamford would go ahead and make it Leeds United 1, Millwall 0. And I've got to say, totally undeserved. Millwall deserved to be at least 2-0 up in this first half. They just couldn't take their chances, so it's quite a smash and grab first half within this game. But as you would see, second half, Millwall coming out strong, as they always do. And, you know, the opportunities, they were getting too many. And if it wasn't going to be in the first half, it was certainly going to be in the second half. Yet Millwall finally took one of their opportunities, made it 1-1. But it wasn't long after that Wobar gets his first goal of the save. Yet Wobar, obviously not a starter in this team over Ampadu and Joe Rodon, a bit like Twanzebe. He's not going to be a starter in this team, but goes ahead, comes up clutch and gets the 3 points for Leeds United. And again, if one person in the team's not performing, if 5 people in the team aren't performing, then we've got to make sure someone's there to help us and save us if we need saving. But yet another 3 points in the bag, and I've got to say, 14 games in, it's really looking bright for Leeds United at the minute. I've come in with the objective to get promotion to the Premier League, and we are getting that. Yet 14 games in, 5 points the gap. Can we make it more in the next episode? But guys, that will end today's episode of Cream. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, please go down, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon. Keep showing your support on the series on the road to 200 subs. But thank you, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye for now.